there's a ton of energy in the room. Give me one thing that's bubbled up in your conversation. Anybody?
Pretty good.
Yes?
I think it's important, or what we see is that there's a lot of purpose with the leadership level, but then it doesn't get disseminated down. And trying to get you bought into the purpose, but how do you get your staff to buy into the purpose?
Yep, and that's, I live that mantra all the time in the work that I do, trying to get leaders to understand, exactly the importance of exactly what you just talked about. It can be challenging. With all the other stuff, resources are lean. Nobody has enough, time, energy, resources to do the day-to-day stuff, let alone, how do we come up with how do we craft a galvanizing, compelling purpose? That usually gets, but it's critical, it really is. Thank you. Yeah?
I think as a leader, it's important for us personally to get an opportunity to define and redefine our own purpose. So that
Okay.
we're leading the folks
Great point.
as effectively as we can. Because if we're not in that space, just like an organization wouldn't be in that space, then we can't really motivate others and engage others.
Great observation. So the comment was that as leaders, we need to define and redefine our own sense of purpose. Otherwise, how can we expect our team members, right, to rally around a team purpose or a collective purpose? Good. How about one more? You see another hand anywhere? Yeah.
We have the opposite. We don't really have any purpose in the leadership other than individualistic goals. And so bringing the organization to the next level in a competitive marketplace, I see the value of what you offer.
Good. Maybe that requires, since you work for a law firm, reframing what it is you provide. Looking at it from a more human, and maybe you do, but maybe looking at it from a more humanistic
It's
perspective.
more individualistic
Uh-huh.
as opposed to organizational.
Organizational and collective. Mhm.
And I think you'd get, we see a work ethic difference in young associates.
How so?
They think it's a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
Practice of law is not a 9-to-5 job. And they think they get to earn a fairly nice living and
Sure.
check out as if they worked in, not to disparage anybody, but if you were a cashier at a supermarket.
Right. Right.
And you get to leave it behind. So I think if there was more purpose on the upper echelons, perhaps they would feel more vested and want to make that extra commitment to succeed.
Good insight. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. All right. Let's move on to the second P. Progress. A few years ago, I came across a book called The Progress Principle, and it was written by a couple of folks from Harvard. But first, right? Pretty brutal, yeah? So when we talk about engagement, it's what I call it's a choice. It's the investment of energy, talent, and care that people put into any endeavor. And it forms that nice little memorable acronym, etc., which is that little extra. Okay? Now, we all know, because we read all kinds of things about engagement. Engagement, good. Disengagement, bad. Right? And I won't bore you with all the research. If you're interested, you can go take a look at it on the internet. The problem is that we have, where is it? Here it is. 1 in 4 people are actively disengaged, right? According to Gallup. They're not only just not grooving at work, they're taking everybody down with them, right? You know people like that? Okay. So look around you, and if it's not the person next to you, or the 2 people on the other side of you, I'm just kidding. So what happens when you have a disengaged workforce? Oh my goodness. Right? That other slide took me 2 hours, this took me 4 hours. So you better like it. Right? You have basically the Walking Dead at your workplace. Morning, Joe. Morning, Fred. Right? You ever been stuck in a room with some of these people? It's brutal. Right? No good. What do we do about it? Well, I have a solution. Teresa Mavallet is the director of research at Harvard Business Review, and she did an amazing study a few years ago where she tried to discover what is it that takes place every day in the trenches that makes the difference between engaged, high-performing, creative, collaborative, collegial cultures and the opposite. And here's what she found. She asked the participants in her research to send her a daily diary every day and amassed over 12,000 of these things over a period of months. And what she found was a dynamic called inner work life, which is nothing more than the combination of our perceptions, motivations, and emotions. So if you're walking down the hall at work and you see everybody in your department is celebrating someone's birthday, and you're looking in like, what's your emotion? Well, your perception is, right, you observe that. Your perception is sad, frustrated, angry, resentful, confused. In that mind state, will you be motivated to go back to work and give it your all? Probably not, right? And this happens all day, every day. It's very fluid, this inner work life. And what they discovered was that when inner work life is positive, when people have positive perceptions, pleasant emotions, and are intrinsically motivated by the nature of the work they're doing, it drives performance on four levels. Creativity is higher, productivity is higher, commitment is higher, and collegiality is higher. That's great. Good, got it. It begs the question, though, if high inner work life or elevated work life drives performance in a positive direction, what's the next logical question? How do you drive inner work life? Okay? And what they found was interesting. They found that the number one driver of inner work life, i.e. the number one driver of performance and engagement, wasn't respect, wasn't a paycheck. It was this idea of making progress on meaningful work. As a matter of fact, when people reported making progress on meaningful work, it far and away was the number one driver when people reported having high inner work life days, doing their best work, enjoying the work the most. Okay? And they named their book The Progress Principle because it was so obvious. The other thing they found is that progress came in many different forms. Yes, there were those big breakthroughs, but those are pretty rare at work, right? Those big aha breakthrough moments. The good news is that when people reported making even a little forward movement on a project, inner work life, what happened? Went up. When people reported just completing a goal, how many of you in the room do something, achieve a goal, and then write it down just for the satisfaction of crossing it off? Right? Right? Feels good. And what I really want to impress upon people, small wins, those little those minor, seemingly minor, trivial progress occurrences. People said inner work life went through the roof. Let's peel that back a little bit. When they discovered the progress principle, they said, well, that seems kind of obvious. Let's do a follow-up survey with some real-life managers. And they asked these managers to rank what they thought the top drivers of engagement and performance were. And one of them was making progress. Now, on that survey, where do you think progress fell? Low. I heard low. Anyone else? Fell dead last. Dead last. Clearly, there's a disconnect between what people say matters to them on days they feel good, they feel productive, they feel collaborative, and what managers think. Our results reveal unawareness of the power of progress across all levels of management. This is a slide I really want you to remember. Any manager's job, according to the authors, any manager's job description should start with facilitating their people's progress every day, even if this imperative isn't big news for you. Many managers are clearly aware of it. What is it about progress that gets people so fired up to do great work? Well, you think about it, making progress is an inherent part of the human experience, isn't it? I mean, now they give diplomas to kindergartners. Why on earth would they do that? Why would they do that? Feels good, right? You feel accomplished, competent, confident, capable, right? If you're a Boy Scout or a Girl Scout, you get different badges, okay? All the reality shows, like Biggest Loser, right? Right? The ubiquitous thermometer, letting people know how much money they've raised, right? Progress just makes us feel good, right? We feel like we're what? We're in control. Things are happening, right? If you're Seinfeld fans, wheels are in motion. Remember that? Now, the psychological term for that is self-efficacy, the extent of or strength of one's belief in one's own ability to complete tasks and reach goals. When we feel like we are in control of our environment, that we are an actor on the things around us, we feel capable, competent, and confident. So that's why progress is so powerful. The problem is so much of what we call management is specifically designed to what? Hinder progress. Ain't that the truth? So what do we do about it? Well, how many of you, I'm really dating myself, right? For those of you in the back, Chutes and Ladders was a board game. There's no app for it yet. It sounds very quaint, but you would roll it what's called a die, and we'll talk after. Ain't work life a series of chutes and ladders, right? Are you going to have an inevitable chute sometimes? Yeah, but the key is, how do you handle the inevitable chutes? You know who has the most influence over whether a chute is a learning experience, something that can galvanize the team and drive them forward, or look at a chute and go, I told you that wasn't going to work. I don't know why we did that. Oh, God, that was stupid. Who is the number one figure that determines that? Not the client, the manager. The manager. The manager, right? Have you ever been on a team that is on one of these, what's called a positive spiral or progress loop? The team's making progress, so their inner work life goes up. There's a certain buoyancy in the culture. And so what happens? High inner work life fuels what? More progress. You ever been on one of those teams that finds itself in a positive, it feels great, right? How many of you have ever been on a team experiencing a progress loop? Anybody? What was it like, Kim?
It's incredible. Everybody was motivated to a common goal. Everybody wanted to, help out. It was collaborative. It was great.
It's amazing, right? Now, unfortunately, we're not there yet. Let me tell you about small wins. Seemingly minor progress events actually in the research showed similar lift to inner work life as much bigger breakthroughs. The lesson for all of you is what? Acknowledge, validate, and celebrate the small wins. I'll give you an example. From one of the diaries, I smashed that bug that's been frustrating me for almost a calendar week. That may not be an event to you, but I live a very drab life, so I'm all hyped. Okay? That was from a software coder, right? Little minor progress, little forward movement, huge lift to inner work life. Unfortunately, we've probably all been on teams where setbacks diminish inner work life, and when people are doing the Walking Dead shuffle, what inevitably happens? It's very hard to escape from a vicious or downward cycle, isn't it? How many of you have ever been on a team that was entrenched in a doom loop? Anybody? Raise your hand. What was that like?